Welcome, everyone. This is Pilot Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at lasers and LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us Krister.
Hello.
And Cinders.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. And this week we had the second week of Bull Roar, where, of course, they were doing a few tweaks to what we had before, and they continue to do testings on the Isle of Storms and the arena and on the raid. They still don't quite have the streets of Rahalbach ready yet, so I hope they'll have that ready soon so that we can have a nice look at it. And also this week, they had on the Elder Slade missions, they are starting to add the epic malices. So let's have a look at those. On the epic malices that have been added to the Delvings, these are malices that affect you and the space itself. These epic malices will appear at Tier 9 as part of the reordering of malices. We are launching with the 3 epic malices, more to be added in the future. And the 3 are, one is Epic Fervor. Your fervor and intensity grows with each enemy defeated. For each enemy defeated, gain a stacking damage buff. Buff stacks up to 10 times. Now, when they were talking about epic malices, I expected them to be things that went against you, not in your favor.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Are you describing the effect that the enemy has every time they kill
the enemy can't kill 10 people in a single space in a mission because there are only 2 of you plus the NPC with you. Epic Tempest. Storm clouds form in the space, spawning every 45 seconds and roiling through the space. There are 4 possible storms. Storm of Fire, which does fire damage to you and your enemies. Storm of Lightning, which does lightning damage to you and enemies. Storm of Healing, which heals you and your enemies. And Storm of Protection, which grants an armor buff to you and your enemies. So, some storms help, some storms hurt. And then Orc Tunnels. Orcs and goblins are digging under your feet. Orc tunnels will pop up in your space every 60 seconds. 1 tunnel will spawn per player. Destroy the tunnel or it will spawn a random delving orc or goblin monster. And they also noticed that delving malices have been reordered. We aim to do this periodically to keep delvings fresh and to showcase new combinations of malices. With the addition of delving epic malices to Tier 9, malices previously there have been moved to Tier 11. So every delving tier now unlocks a new malice.
Reading through some of these comments underneath, one of them goes, should be interesting. We'll learn some new swear words in preparation.
Yeah, you feel like it's going to be frustrating, but
Need new swear words.
Okay.
What did you do this week? Learned new swears for the malices. Sorry. Funny thought.
Yes. Now, concerning back onto the main part of the update there for classes and skills, all offensive fellowship-wide buffs across classes have been adjusted to apply to the entire raid. For optimized raid groups, this won't be much of a difference to your total possible damage output, but it should make it easier to organize players in groups without forcing DPS/everyone else split in order to maximize the power of these buffs. The one notable exception is the Herald of War buff aura, which for technical reasons still can only apply to the Captain's Fellowship.
But
For-
very interesting stuff there.
Yeah. Brawler. The mitigation debuff for Shattering Fist is now a percentage-based reduction rather than an armor rating debuff. For the Burglar, Knives Out no longer taunts enemy hits and now increases your melee damage for the duration and does not reduce your incoming damage. Champion. Rend trait no longer re-adds its old physical mitigation debuff to Rend. For the Hunter, Explosive Arrow now only applies major rent armor when the Hunter is specializing in the Trapper tree. And that's a change from last week where they said that it now applies major rent armor. That was added to the first week of Bulbar. So they're tweaking it so that it's a Trapper tree thing instead of a general thing. Oh, Dorolin, when I was talking about the Malice, Epic Malice, says, okay, more reasons for me not to do delvings. Well, just avoid tier 9, I guess.
Or higher.
Or higher, yes. Though, of course, he did say it was more reasons, so therefore the other reasons might cover the lower ones, like all those puddles, which is the reason why I don't go very far into
I've never tried any of them.
I should introduce one to you. Just we do one, and then you'll say, all right, that's it.
Probably.
Yeah, don't worry. I was about to say, don't worry, we won't do one on Infestation of Crabs, but then I just remembered Infestation of Crabs doesn't have a delving one because of the architectural layout, let's just say.
Yeah.
Minstrel, Fellowship's Heart healing over time increases 15%. Initial heal increased by 5%. Triumphant Spirit healing increased 25%. Cord of Salvation healing increased to 15%. And power cost increased slightly for Cord of Salvation, Triumphant Spirit, and Perfect Ending. For the Runekeeper, Molten Runestone damage is now correctly improved by its associated trait and the Runestone healing of damage tracery. And concerning Writ of Lightning and Writ of Fire, Weakening Writ now tiers up correctly between untraded and traded writs, as well as between Writ of Fire and Lightning. For crafting, the 141 crafted heraldries will now have a level 150 max on their set bonus. Thank you, please. For instances and skirmishes, boss monsters within Shakalush the Stairs battle can no longer be slowed. I try to remember if I ever had anyone who attempted to slow a boss in that instance. As for missions and delvings, 9 missions, the Elder Slave missions now have been converted to delvings. 9 missions have not been converted to delvings due to being incompatible with the way the system operates. These missions are incompatible. Collapsing the old pads, because it's mainly about collapsing pads. Burrowers by the Hothrodiant. I could just imagine having all of those mouses happening on that bridge where you've got in there. Yeah, I can understand why they decided not to do that one. The Sacrificial Tower, probably because of how closed in it is. The Watchers of Iron. The 3 Wardens, which is also another one in that same building. The Goblin Town Gauntlet. No, with all those endless goblins that you have to go and track. Invasion at the Red Horn Path. It looks like that all the ones that have the endless twist are off of here, as well as the ones that are in that tight tower. Training for Glory, because that's the one where you're just fighting and training those dwarves. So obviously having delvings on that one would make sense. And goblins at Stromvars, because there's absolutely no combat in that particular one. So I was I was expecting at least the goblins and Strandvarth not to be in. I forgot about the training for glory for the dwarves, which obviously wouldn't have it either. So it looks like there are 7 others that also said no, no delvings for these. Players can now barter for level 150 essences and crafted tracery recipes from delving rewards NPCs. All right. VFX on the weapon's aura, Elven Blessing, was a bit overpowering and has been slightly toned down. And that's it for the main section of the patch notes. There were also a couple of tweaks in the Isle of Storms I noticed. They said that they rebalanced the solo difficulty based on my attempt at running that. I don't think they did much rebalancing there, but that's just my opinion on it. There was one person who commented that he felt that it was now too easy, and my characters beg to differ. All right. Most trash spawns were thinned out, trash health generally reduced, trash offense reduced slightly, added 1 undead spawn to an open stretch in the lower tunnel, tweaks to boss range checks. Croc Boss can no longer use Dreadful Gaze immediately after Septic Cloud, but he's still a pain to fight. Tweaked Boss 2 so that they'll no longer use the stun immediately following a ground pound. Fix some animation issues with the intro and ground pound. Final boss will not spawn in the area unless all winds have been eliminated. Bosses will no longer slow down when badly damaged. Group bosses now resist slow effects. Reduced rock boss damage on solo difficulty. Slow effects can no longer fall off the Deadly Cyclone mid-fight, and Deadly Cyclones should do a better job of keeping track of their target, but are slower. And yeah, Dwarlin seems to agree with these, where he says, there's always one that says, that was easy. They lie.
True, yeah.
Yeah, there's always one who says that. I managed to beat it with just carrying a butter knife.
Like a hot knife through butter. Slice through.
Since I was playing since beta, I have a special set of skills that you don't understand.
Right, and that is it for for this round of the release notes. We will, of course, go more in more depth of the release notes when we have the final release on there. Note that next week on Wednesday, February 21st, we will have the next round of Casual Stroll, where we will be getting scenarios Casual Stroll through Eastern Gondor. With also, yes, Central Gondor, then Eastern Gondor. And that's it for the news this week, so let's go into the store sales. Sans, what's on sale this week?
Well, Sans doesn't know.
Oh!
The store sales are to make your piece of Middle-earth shine. You can get 30% off of select housing decorations, select housing sets, housing property writs, select cloaks through the 22nd of February. And then the weekly coupon is a free +5 hope boost for 90 minutes times 5. So the coupon code is Boost Hope. BOOSTHOPE, no spaces, also through February 22nd.
Yeah. The first thing that I checked with that particular sale on the housing decorations was to see whether or not crafting facilities were included in that. Alas, no. So, because I was wondering, should I buy an oven or not?
Well, the answer is always yes. Ovens are great. But yeah, you
Well,
might wait for a sale.
yes. I mean, there's always the possibility. There's always the possibility of going to the Shire. Since I have the port to the Shire and can easily use the ovens there, it's not
Yeah,
exactly like I am absolutely positively must go to my house in order to cook.
fair.
Yes. So let's head into our reminiscing segment where we have the question is, where is your favorite fishing hole?
One of you two is going to have to answer because I don't fish.
Oh, you don't fish?
I don't fish. I don't loot goo, and I don't loot filth. That's what my captain does not do.
All right, do you have a favorite one, Cinder? Yes.
So, I think right now my favorite fishing place is off the coast of Umbar with that really pretty blue water, just being able to just sit there and fish. It's not always great on the return for it, but it makes you feel like you're on vacation fishing and just relaxing.
Oh, okay. So you're there to relax as you fish rather than to actually catch any of the cookable fish or anything like that.
I mean, when I catch them, it's always nice, but
Right.
sometimes it's just fun to go fish with no real purpose other than just fishing and seeing what you can pull out. And
Right.
finding out how high that you can stack one junk item. So I did that on with goldfish. I got to 100 and then decided that I didn't need to keep fishing them and stacking them just to see how high they'd go. I think it started to split into 2 stacks after 100. I was like, okay, that's good enough for me. Darlin says that right now the Gondor housing area is their favorite fishing spot. Pineleaf, where's your favorite fishing spot?
Oh yes, Belfalis Homestead, most definitely. Because it's easy for me to get to because I have a house right off the coast, so I just pop in, jump down to. Now I admit the slope is a little high there, so I have to be careful on where I position myself in the whole thing. But I'm getting better at positioning myself, and I just fish away, and it gets me a real nice percentage of cookable fish. And in fact, I've been spending much of this week doing various sessions all over Middle Earth, seeing which areas have the best chances of getting cookable fish. And I've been measuring them.
Weren't you guys discussing the trout in Rivendell last night?
Yeah. Yes, for Rivendell, that's a nice place to get trout, apparently, because that's where I finished my trout deed, and I believe Cinders did the same thing.
Yep, I am now a trout master, or mistress, whichever you prefer. Yeah. So
Right.
there's really nothing more to go with that.
Right. And then
I got it, and I'm very proud of it, and I plan to get the other titles for fishing too. So
yeah, and I managed to finish the darter title at Fort Hill.
And didn't you get the 50-pound salmon too?
I got the 50-pound salmon there also.
Yeah.
During a different session, yes. In fact, I think I caught 2 other 50-pound salmons while I was doing a later session also at Fort Hill, where I was doing a more scientific gathering of my percentages over there.
Yep.
And what I did is that for most of these areas, I did a session of 50 items in my inventory. Meaning I would keep on until I had 50 items in my inventory. That would mean that any of the junk items or any of the cookable items, they would go into my inventory, and I would see the percentage of them that were cookable I hoping maybe I could get a better system in place so I could actually base it on my percentage of catches. In other words, also include the trophy fish in there, but I don't quite have a setup in order to reliably do that. That means I would have to go through my logs in order to be able to do that right. But overall in this, in those areas, I had 2 sessions at the Belfalis homestead, and those sessions were the first and third best percentages that I had in there, because I had 56% at the Belfalis homestead on one of them, and on the other one's at 46%. So that shows you that there's a bit of a variation in there. So the average is there about 50, looks like 51% or something like this. So it's one of the few areas that's above 51%. The other one that was at over 50% was Fenmarch. And I can tell you right now, it's a lot easier for me to get to the Belfalis homestead than it is to get to Fenmarch.
Fair.
The next one after that was Mirkwood. And then original Dol Amroth.
Oh.
Yeah, the original Dol Amroth was 42%. And I went to the exact same location in King's Dol Amroth, and I only had 16%.
Okay.
So,
were you using the same fishing rod the whole time, or was it before?
yeah,
and
same
after you
fishing
changed?
rod.
Okay.
Same fishing rod. Same fishing rod all the way through. Now, when I did this retest in here, I am not showing my old results. I'm showing all the results I did after I got the new fishing rod and all.
Okay. Just double checking.
Yeah, just double checking there. I want to make sure that everything was on the same level playing. Now, I think I'm going to need to do a similar set of tests with a lower level fishing character, because these are my percentages with a 200 with a 200 level fisher and with a plus 10 fishing pole.
Yeah.
Then at the next after that, it was Rivendell, which was near the gazebo, in that stream near the gazebo in there, where I got 36%. And for Hell was 34%. The Linnelby Homestead was 32%. Shire Homestead was 22%. Then came King's Dol Amroth, which was 16%. Hall of Vernazal was 15%. Now, the ones that were less than 20% at 20, I decided to stop at 20. So there could be more variation on it, but I strongly doubt that Hall of Vernazal, Kutra, or Kalendin is going to go around surpassing it anytime soon, because those were anywhere from 10 to 15% on the numbers I was getting there, which was not showing any promise whatsoever.
Yeah, Dorland wonders if part of the reason for the better fishing in Dol Amroth, Old Dol Amroth, is because there's a fishing quest there. And there isn't in King's Gondor.
That's always a possibility. I didn't think about that, but yeah, but I would think that since I don't think that fishing quest involves catching cookable fish, that it would be the reason for the differences in that. Because right now I'm showing how good I think it is based on how many cookable fish it gets.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I guess that's always a possibility.
And then, like, we were fishing in the same spot and had totally different counts, too.
Yes, that's right. That's why I need to go and do some tests with other characters, because it could be that some areas are better if you have a poorer value in your fishing skill, perhaps.
Yeah, because I was under 100.
Yeah. So, right, because I think you said you hit 99 today or something like that?
I hit 99 yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And clicked over into 100 while doing my Trout Master.
Okie dokie. And anyway, those are the numbers I got so far. I'm going to try to do some more numbers, probably with some lower level fishing ones to see, do I get similar numbers or are they significantly different? Or, I mean, it could be that you get the same amount of cookable fish, but you just get different cookable fish or something like that. Or is it worse or is it better or anything like that?
Yeah.
But first round of testing, that's what I've gotten so far. And
Excellent.
right now, with Belfalis housing being the easiest one of all these to get to, and the one that's giving me some of the best results, there isn't much reason for me to go anywhere else to fish on a regular basis, especially considering that I've got the deeds pretty much done.
Yeah. That makes sense. So, Krister, before we move away from this, why doesn't Krister go fishing?
Well, he's kind of more of a like a cow pig type of guy.
Okay.
I mean, he has a lot of boars.
Uh-huh.
He probably is, probably has a dairy farm or two out there.
That's it. He wants the new hobby to be the
Ranching.
animal husbandry.
There we go.
Okay, that would be really cool, especially if I could like put my pet menagerie, because I've got all those goats and sheep and stuff on M. If like
Yeah.
there was a way that you could have those and then like put them out in like a little pen, that would be awesome. And enjoy
Similar
them all
to-
at once.
Similar to what you have with the horses in the
Yeah.
Rohan housing area.
Yeah, and I know like you can put your pets out, but it would be nice if you could have like multiple pets and they would like just wander around in their little pen
Okay.
to go next to your barn.
Okay.
I think that would be cool. I would be all for that as a hobby.
Let's then head into the new player question. And the question is, okay, listen to this one, Krister, since it's going to be your turn. What are the advantages of a blue line captain?
Let me put down my fishing pole. We were talking about this because one of our old kinnies came back and he is working on his tank. And so now in the mix, we have 2 guardians. And so what's cool about that is that then that allows me, as opposed to being the off tank, I can either run red line or blue line. And so I think we want to try it out blue line, because what's great about blue line now is that is the line where my res is fully tradable. So now I've got my 2-person full morale in combat res available, which can be certainly a game changer depending on how things are going. And then just the basically I can song brother the tank, and then they'll get additional stats in addition to in Defense of Middle Earth you'll get other bonuses. And then I think the one thing I'm the most curious to see about, because a captain is just pumping out a river of healing all the time, so I'm always healing, regardless of what stance I'm in. But with the blue line, of course, that's focused on healing. And the other thing is that with the Blade Brothers skill, it should be a power regen skill too. And so if I have my power Herald out, and in blue line, which should be generating power, I'm going to be curious to see if we have power problems. I felt like we didn't have any problems, but of course we were we were playing Tower of Orthanc, which wasn't on level, so it wasn't like we could have an accurate representation of how the blue line captain's effect was. But basically, it is another healer. And at this point, I don't, with all the changes that have happened and the stat crunch and everything, I haven't really run my numbers against the healers again. But in blue line, I could never equal a minstrel, but I could be right underneath the minstrel in terms of healing. So The captain used to be able to pump out quite a bit of healing as well. So that would be the main thing for the blue line captain is powerful in combat res and a lot of healing going on as well. Healing and power regen.
Nice. Dorlin says minis and main healers love blue cappies. Unlike cappies, they're not really liking the Mariners heals.
That's exactly what I
think
like.
Dorlin is on team captain there.
Unlike
the Mariners could go climb the mizzen mast.
Let's into our week in gaming. Krister, what were you up to when you weren't insulting Mariners?
Well, nothing. No. That took up all my time. No. Last night we had a lot of fun. We decided, after some robust debate, that we would do Tower of Orthanc, and we had a few people that had not done it, so we just went ahead and ran through it and unlocked it. And of course, I think it was capped at level 75. So to say it was a cinematic adventure would be, I think, appropriate. Where we're just so overpowered, everybody just wilts before us. But I still think there were some deaths, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't we have a death in the throne room?
Yes, and it wasn't. Was that like an?
There was somebody standing in a puddle or moving in a puddle.
Oh yeah, somebody was moving in a puddle, and I got stuck in the chest. And
that's right.
Yeah. So I couldn't actually see what was going on because I was stuck in a chest. And then, of course, we all did suicide off the top of the tower, too.
That's right. We screwed up the challenge initially, so we all jumped and died, except for one of our very focused hobbits who was determined to defeat Saruman by himself.
And then we had to convince him to jump off.
And then we had to convince
so
suicide again. Yeah. Then we had to jump off the tower again. So we had a lot of fun with that, and then we finished up with what we did Amon Soul again, didn't we?
Yeah.
What is? I'm so old now. So we got some seals. So we did get a little bit of a reward last night, but we really enjoyed it. So next week we're going to take everybody on a tour of OD because we do have some people that have not done it yet. And so that will be, I believe, a fun adventure because we like to, of course, reminisce about when it was on level, when things were terrible and challenging. And then you're just breezing through these places where you were there for an hour and a half. 30 seconds later you're done. So, but it's fun to see this stuff. The main thing that always comes out of that is just this true and profound hope that SSG can somehow go back, rescale all of their content so it's scalable to everything, and of course make sure that the rewards reflect accurately reflect the scale. But you think bringing all that content back into relevance could be like almost a revival for the game too. So next week is OD, and we're looking forward to it. The other thing that's killing me now is I love the fact that now that picnic tables are not just some kind of leisure thing. It's like, oh, let's get together for a picnic. You better have a picnic table available in all multiplayer circumstances in Middle Earth now. So it is a necessity. And so I love the fact that everybody is asking for the picnic table now. Do we have a picnic table? Is there a picnic table here?
I mean, honestly, though, in real life, we'd all be like that, too. If we had the opportunity to have a picnic table, we would jump on that. Picnic table? Where?
I just love thinking about the logistics of where how are we carrying? What's the supply trains like behind us? That we never see.
Somebody's
like
got
75 wagons filled with picnic tables.
Oh, that's great.
Is there some Hobbit IKEA out there that has a picnic table we can just get in a box and we can assemble them if we need them?
Welcome to IKEA.
And then basically A mix of ESO, played some Void Crew with my friends, and been messing around a lot with my the artwork. It's been a lot of fun, having a lot of inspiration. So it's been kind of an enjoyable, fun week. Seduce, what did you get up to?
So I played some more Pioneers of Pagonia. I'm still trying to beat all the objectives on the second world, but got a little sidetracked cleaning house. So did not get as much done on that as I had hoped to. I did get my Trout Master title yesterday. I caught all of the trout, at least one of all of the different kinds. No, M is not going to wear the Trout Master title, but she is a Trout Master. And then I did go reading with play. We did Tower of Orthanc, as Krister was saying, and it was fun. I don't recall having done that one before, and seeing some of those mechanics in practice, especially with the rings up at the top, was really cool. Pineleaf, what have you been up to?
Right. My warden was busy because I helped to stop a plague at a town up in the Cape of Boombar, and I also finished all of the non-festival fishing deeds, which means I got the Trout Master and I got the Darter Master. I don't know if I think I also got the is that 50-pound salmon during the course of this week also.
Yep.
So that's 3 different deeds at least that were finished this week. The only one that I have left is the one that's associated with the Farmers Fair. So obviously I can't do anything about that until the next fair arrives. So I'm hoping I remember all about this but when it arrives, so I can go and catch all those fish so I can complete that one. And for Friday Night Fight, we ran several skirmishes in there. Then my Moria Mariner started a search for a legendary axe. And that's my week in LOTRO. If you'd like to send us an email, you could send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have LOTRO Players News, and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. You can join our shows at lotroplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight then. This is Pilot Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.